Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the WGL EU Season 5 Match Week 7. And we have some more tanks coming up for you today. Obviously, we did have that special week of extra shows, but we're back down to normal now. We're cooling it down, calming it down. We're back to the regular schedule. However, of course, I'm once again joined by my beautiful co-caster, Ollie. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm a little bit disappointed that we don't have so many shows, because last week was kind of epic, and it kind of showed us a different side to the teams where when they had to play a lot and they were watching a lot of tanks, they kind of changed
really
it around.
Upped the game.
I'm wondering if it's going to go back down to normal where we kind of see the expected results, or if it's going to carry on being so unpredictable.
I think we're going to find out in the next couple of hours, so do stick with us. But obviously, you guys may have gotten used to Mini Melly. However, Millie Melly is the new name. Mini Melly had to be shelved because, well, he just wasn't good enough. We have the beautiful Melly back with us. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right, Dolly. I'm happy to be back, and I actually missed all of you, even Ollie, a bit.
Wow.
And it's surprising,
Started
isn't it?
already. We're 2 minutes into the show, and the
So, people,
insults have begun.
if you have, you all wrote me, and I really appreciate all the kind words you sent to me. Some of you knew what happened, and yes, I'm back, and I'm happy to be back, and I love hearing from you. So head over to twitter.com/WGLEU. Follow us, of course, and of course tweet us by simply using the hashtag WGLEU or directing your tweets instantly to our profiles. So also get involved on Facebook, facebook.com/WGLEU. Follow us for updates during the show, of course, and during the season as well. If we have interviews or articles, we will let you know via Facebook, of course, and of course via Twitter. So if you follow those both platforms, you can't do wrong. You will always get spammed by us and won't miss anything what's going on in our universe. So of course we will have the regular team votes during the show. So keep an eye open on Facebook and participate for a chance of winning 5 bonus codes containing 500 gold this time. So people, it's gonna be good, I guess. I think I missed a lot last week. I will work that up, and well, I'm waiting to hear from you. Don't forget to follow Twitch channel, of course. It's really important, because then you will get a notification as soon as we're going live, and you won't miss any single second of our beautiful show.
Well, see, that's what happens when you get professional to do it. Sorry, Alex, you have indeed been replaced. It's nice to have Melly back, I think.
It's awesome to have Melly back. I liked Alex.
He was all right.
He's a bit of a half-wit, but he's
and he coughed a lot.
He's a good guy. Mini might have been the wrong word to use for Alex, but
true.
Melly Mark 1.5. You have to update him a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, he needs some work there. However, that aside, since Melly wasn't here to actually catch some of the tank action, I think we need to catch everyone up, including Melly, and kind of refresh our memories as to what went on in that previous playday. So guys, let's take a look back. Welcome to the WGL EU. Speaking of playdays, we're into match week 6, and of course, I'm Lauren Pansy Scott, your host. I think a 2-5-1 split on the west. I don't think they're going to make it back in time. I think they know this. Bishu's going for a last-ditch attempt, but that east side, the 2-5-1's breaking in, maybe a final shot. Oh, beautiful play from Boromako, just about resetting it, and he had to sacrifice himself for the greater good. But can now the rest of his side come up with the rest? It looks like Momentum found their way back in, pick up round number 2.
Ooh, it's only about 1 second between the cap going down and the end of the battle. I'm not sure if they're going to make this. One more reset will do it, and Momentum have done a great job to come back into this game, as Rogue does finish off another tank, and I honestly think they'll be able to reset. McMoney hasn't got the reload before, but free kill, and Bishu's in the equation.
Surely one more shell's going to do it, and there we go, comes out from free kill, and this is a massacre, ladies and gents. Utopia are falling like flies. Somehow Lito and Trakis are still alive as well. Outrun and Manza creating the perfect crossfire, and this has gone terribly wrong. Finally, Lito and Trakis go down.
Siege has got to do some work here, but he's got Ron to contend with, and he couldn't do it. He does fall to run for Thailand though, and FKK Schnitzel trying to do some work, and that's the thing. Now the T49 is the worst tank to have in these situations. He doesn't even manage to one-shot Montiablo, and he hits his tracks.
He's got the shot now, he's got one. Now Phoenix, 1v1, Schnitzel's got one. He needs a second. Phoenix needs to hold on for one more minute.
No, it's a
4
mistake.
more shells. He's got the high ground. Phoenix, can he do this? Moving in for the round, but oh, Phoenix comes out big, denies Schnitzel the clutch. It's a 2-for-1 thus far, but Nias Bazzoni going low. Griffin on the drive-by, but Montiablo still in there with him. Finally, Ron arrives, but who's next. So far, Wusa are in real dire straits, losing 4 tanks, nearly 5, make it 5 with 2 left standing. This brawl has gone from bad to worse, but that T-32 still has to go down. 5 tanks firing into is going to hurt, but Carvey now on the flank, going to try around the backside, but it's gone, well, not so well. He's taken 2 shells and goes down, and the bullets are flying. The shells come in, and on the flank, the IS-3 coming down that D5 line, going to get fire around the back of the Eurofish, and does. They're going to have to commit here. They're going to have to push further forward, and this can start really hurting now.
Oh, but TCM Gaming are falling like flies at the moment as well. Some tanks coming from behind, but it's not an autoloader. They should be all right, but another tank falls.
As here comes a big play, Eurofish moving forward, left on nothing, 250 just taken away, down to a one-shot, taking away the opponents, and the cap will constantly be reset here from Durs in the back lines, doing the best he can, but the HP is in dire straits.
TCM Gaming are just letting themselves die in this situation, not making the right predictions. The EPS have just know where TCM are, and they're just pushing through. They're predicting everything perfectly. And you have to really give them credit, but Lucas Yasti's got to still be careful, down to a one-shot. And EPS do walk away with a win, 5-1 scoreline. That's a very one-sided result for them.
Yeah, some very resounding scorelines from that play day. I feel we can kind of summarize that into, and it's always good to have a little look back, see how it went down. A lot of maps being picked up in a way that we hadn't expected. We saw the Rurenberg side of attack really working out a couple of times, showing us that it can be done. So, with all that in mind, the rankings have substantially changed this time. We saw it kind of getting into a bit of a slump, and every team kind of staying where they were until that previous play day. Things have now changed, and it's a bit of a drastic landscape.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only real thing that stayed the same is that Virtus.Pro is at the top. They haven't played since the Christmas break, but they're doing very well. GG well played. They are sitting second finally on the same points as Virtus.Pro, but not doing quite so well in terms of the score lines they've had. And School Bus still in third. I think, you know, it should have been School Bus at the top, but they lost 5-0 against DTQ last week, and that's why they're there. But today, of course, we're seeing Evil Panda Squad and Virtus.Pro go up first, and EPS winning against TCM Gaming 5-1 was a big boost for them in the second half of the season.
It was massive, and if they get a good scoreline here, it'll take them even further, probably within that top 6 to some margin. So something to look forward to today. There's a lot of action going down, though. 3 games this time, not just the 2. And as you said, first one coming up is going to be EPS up against Virtus.Pro. So a big heavy hitter to kick off with those two well known to each other at that point. But still, we have Kazna against DTQ, and then to end on a bit of a high note.
Yeah, DTQ, it's really going to be interesting if they can continue their form at the moment. I mean, as I said before, 5-0 against School Bus, who are our reigning champions in the Wargaming League Europe. And then, of course, last we have School Bus versus WSD Gaming. WSD Gaming coming off a good win last week, and School Bus off a loss. So if WSD can be on form and School Bus haven't got their act together, they can certainly capitalize on that and actually win against them.
Yeah, we asked the question, was it DTQ being that much better or School Bus being that much worse? You spoke to Arklit a little there.
Yep.
He said they just weren't on point, they hadn't been practicing enough, and it clearly cost them. But then again, I think we can look at DTQ and see that they did a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah, hell of a lot of work, and all their roster changes seem to be working out for them. And I think you've got to give them credit. Yes, okay, School Bus weren't on form, but if you do check the VOD out on youtube.com/WGL, you can actually see how well they played. And you just can't give them enough credit for that, to be honest. But today's match, the first match, will be Virtus.Pro versus Evil Panda Squad. Now, the lineups on your screen, the only change is Bananek PL joining Evil Panda Squad. He was playing last week, played pretty well, but Never Give Up really did kind of beat him to the punch. He was absolutely fantastic. Another player who joined the team for Season 5. And I really have to say, the damage he does is truly phenomenal.
Yeah, and I've got to say, the community really do like Bananek as well. I guess he might be their new multi-show to kind of champion behind. So certainly looking towards how well he plays today. And I don't think we need to go through that Virtus.Pro lineup. It's something people will know, will love. or not. You know, they're a love-hate team. They are a bit of Marmite in the kind of mix there. You know, some people really do like their style of play, others completely against it. And I kind of like it. It gives them a bit of personality there. And we haven't seen Virtus.Pro that much in the last few weeks. Obviously, Christmas time over in the CIS region, meaning they will take some family time out to, you know, enjoy the celebrations and such. But this means they're coming back now, and I think this is the first time we'll be seeing them really in the spotlight. EPS on rankings, maybe not that kind of equal. However, I think in matches they should be able to give them a good game.
Yeah, EPS have warmed up because of their game last week against TCM, whereas Virtus.Pro, they played in December the 16th against DTQ, which wasn't a challenge for them. They won 5-0. So I think that would be the biggest selling point for Evil Panda Squad. They're warmed up into the season, they've played, whereas the match reschedule against Kazan-Crew, which was supposed to be played on the 5th, has meant that Virtus.Pro haven't played so far this second half of the season. And let's hope they've done the training. I mean, you mentioned the holidays. Perhaps they haven't been training as much as they would like to, and that can have a big effect on them. But still, I think Virtus.Pro are not really a team that kind of lets off the steam. And if they are not training, then they're not playing, pretty much.
I completely agree to that. I think we'll see if, you know, the proof is in the pudding right now. We are into the first map. It will be Ruinberg, and it looks as though Virtus.Pro are going to be starting towards that west side in red on the attack. And on the defense, it will be EPS. Now, we have seen that the attacking side can work out here. However, EPS looking like they want to maybe go for an early start here, see if Catch Me gets any information or gets away scot-free.
A bit of early damage going on to Virtus.Pro from the side. That T-37 doing good work. Remember last time EPS played this map, that was against TCM Gaming. They won both times on attack, so maybe they can repeat the same kind of match lineup against Evil Panda Squad here, but against Virtus.Pro here, but Kusok going low.
Yeah, that 251 going down so early on will be a massive blow to the Virtus.Pro side, and the amount of damage they're receiving is pretty substantial, and they are getting the kills to follow it through. However, Yankees out on a limb might get caught up a touch, but look at this fold coming out from EPS. This is confident play, but Alec, the guys you guys were harping on about, is coming through and coming through good. However, finally the kills coming in against EPS, losing out on 3 tanks now, down to 4 remaining. This is still close.
And Karitz and Krot are actually going to come on reload very quickly, and that's going to determine the fate of this game. Obviously, Vorsik's going to go down, and I have to say, Evil Panda Squad, once they take down Vorsik, they are in the driving seat.
Well, they certainly should be. However, I find it so hard to kind of write Virtus.Pro out of these situations. But with Just Cause catching that shell from Naz Cosmi up in the Eastern Village, and a second to follow, this does look like this might be an opening round win for Evil Panda Squad. And that would mean the world to those boys, taking down and picking up the first one. Just Cause, it's a matter of time for him now. Eclipse is going and gets the ram in. One more shell will do it. Eclipse is taking a lot of damage and actually goes down. That was sloppy play coming out. Maybe a little hap-handed, maybe overconfidence there coming through. As I said, you can't doubt Virtus.Pro. They can turn these situations.
That was massively sloppy play by Eclipse. He should have taken him down. It's allowed Just Cause back into this game, and you can see the player skill from Virtus.Pro is absolutely fantastic. Best player from last round, Never Give Up, failing parlously, and now it's back into Virtus.Pro's hands.
And just buying this time is phenomenal. Karitz comes in, and it's just down to Never Give Up. This has turned from a great situation to an atrocious one, and Never Give Up is gonna have to. The ram comes in, Virtus.Pro turn it on a dime and pick up round number 1. Wow, that was literally the biggest throw I've seen in a long time.
That was terrible. But I mean, what the hell was that game full stop? There was no tactics there. That was just Virtus.Pro going into a brawl situation and then just winning it, not based on tactics, but just player ability alone. Just Cause staying alive in that situation. That's what we like to see from Virtus.Pro.
He was on a slither of health as well. That was beautifully done by Just Cause. But to take back to what you just said, the one thing I was going to point out is that Virtus.Pro don't lose those fundamentals. They can always play tanks to this caliber. These guys, it doesn't matter if they don't train for maybe a week, they still know how to do it. You know, you put them into a bit of a training battle for maybe an hour, you know, playing some normal games, they'll get that skill back like that. It's just a matter of warming up to them. And it's funny you see the difference between a good team and a great team in this one, that EPS, they had that game in the bag. They should have won that. But then just a little bit of maybe lack of concentration, a little bit of lack of focus, and they went for that kill a little too early and didn't expect such a bit of a repercussion to it.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't put enough resources onto that at the end of the day, but you can see the initial play from Virtus.Pro. I mean, Kusok going down, that's really bad. I guess what saved the day was Krot, who we haven't seen playing in Virtus.Pro for donkey's years, basically pushing up in the north, taking down, I'm not sure who that is, I think it's an AMX 1390 or an M41, 2 versus 1. Then they had to go and reload, but when they came off reload, because of that mistake by Eclipse onto Just Cause, it basically gave them enough damage to take down the rest of the tanks because EPS couldn't reset.
Yeah.
All around good play from Virtus.Pro. I mean, Kusok definitely didn't have to suicide like that, but he kind of was the battering ram, and he just basically expended a lot of shells from EPS and a lot of damage, which kind of helped his team in the long run.
And you've got to think about it now. Mentally, EPS are going to at least know that it's possible. And looking at the damage here, is anyone standing out to you at all? Obviously, Just Cause just beautifully. Yeah,
I mean, 240 average damage, 2 kills, 2,685. That's solid play all around. I mean, you can even check out a stream if you want to see how he plays in general. 12 out of 12 shots, 12 penetrations. You know, that's the kind of solid, consistent play you want. I mean, you can see those Bulldogs also doing pretty well. And all the 2-5-1s down there, just not doing much in that situation. And I guess it's the same on the other side from EPS.
Yeah, it certainly is looking at that one. So damage difference wasn't massive. I think overall there was some disparity there, but I don't think that was a defining factor in this. It was just that Virtus.Pro outplayed them.
Yep.
Now let's take down to the mentality level of how EPS are now going to have to overcome that into round number 2. We know that Virtus.Pro like to go aggressive towards that eastern village. They like to get control of it. They were one of the first teams to actually really win on the attacking side doing that in that cheesy game. They finally won in that 5th and final round. I'm surprised that Evil Panda Squad went for the challenge directly there and didn't quite take that into account. Do you think they'll go for the same again?
Well, I'm pretty surprised that EPS decided to defend on Ruinberg full stop because they did well. They did better as the attackers last time. But yeah, I think what's going to happen right now is that EPS is maybe going to switch up their lineup, move away from those 2-5-1s. We've seen a lot of teams, for instance, been picking those heavy tanks up, the IS-3s and the AMX 5100s. Both as the attackers and the defenders. Obviously, it's easier on the defense because you got less less distance to drive. But they might be a little bit scared of VPro's ability to rotate around the map and stretch those heavy tanks thin. But nevertheless, I would ditch, for instance, the 2-5-1 and replace it with the 5100. I mean, the damage difference is truly phenomenal. And clearly, those 2-5-1s just got blown away in those quick engagements by the auto-loading tanks, the Bulldogs, and the MX 39s. But nevertheless, round number 2, Virtus.Pro leading 1-0 out of 4 rounds on Ruinberg. Obviously, once this game's done, Virtus.Pro will be on the defense. Lineups are pretty much the same.
We've seen the 110 though in there.
We've seen the only difference is at 110. Still the 2-5-1s. I think the 110 just replaces an MX 1390. And let's see how that one does. It's done very well in Ruinberg. You know, we saw in Himmelsdorf last season, didn't particularly perform, but on this map, it's got the frontal armor just to play around in those city areas. It's got the damage as well to be able to do a lot of work on those AMX 1390s.
And it's funny, we used to question the 110 over maybe the IS-3. On this map, the NA region really did like it in the first place, the old Fnatic lineup. But now in this game mode, it really does make sense. The speed it can traverse at and travel at is phenomenal. But look at this adaptation from Virtus.Pro. They're trying something different here. Yeah,
they are, and Eclipse has got to scamper away. They basically saw in the first round that Eclipse was getting the side shots on, but never give up. Eclipse and an AMX 5100, I believe, are to the left side, and they're all going to be able to get good shots onto Kusok. So far, he's evading a lot of them, though.
Yeah, he's been able to make up to that northeastern village, that small area of cover that he may reside in. Eclipse is now left in the open. He could be a vulnerability, and he does go down very early on. And what does that mean now for Virtus.Pro? Do they have more freedom?
Yeah, definitely have more freedom. They don't have to worry about side shots. It basically means that they can rotate those tanks, which were in the south up north, but Evil Panda Squad's adapting well. They're basically putting all their resources in one situation. I'm wondering if EPRO is going to go straight in for the engage or go for the actual capping maneuver. And honestly, I would, if I was EPS, capitalize on the fact that Virtus.Pro are still going forwards.
Yeah, Vorsic is there with Povl, and they've caught Catch Me Out quite severely. He's going to go down with very lethal repercussions here. Bananek does peek out, gets a shot off, but never give up, trying to focus it down, but he's receiving a lot of fire, and Virtus.Pro are holding this for now. The cap continues, EPS are down to below half HP, and look at Lucas, he's getting shots left, right, and center. He has taken down Vorsic and Kusok, and it looks like EPS might be finding their reply, but they're so low on HP already.
Yeah, it's not going well for them at all. Bananek trying to do some damage. He probably will be able to take down Povl with this shot. No, he doesn't get unlucky. Remember, 240 average damage is that for that gun, so he is going to go for the round. Does manage to get it. Another pretty close situation. But Raging Potato in that 110 is going to be hard for Virtus.Pro to deal with. They have got the two Bulldogs alive, which with not very much penetration might struggle against that tank. But Karitz has got some great shots onto Bananic. He had to put himself in an awkward situation to take down Pavel, and he might just pay for it now.
Let's see if he does. He's the community's favourite. Let's see what he can pull off here. As you said, he's in a bit of a tricky predicament. Try to find some cover. I don't think he's going to get out of this. I think he knows that as well.
I mean, Just Cause is going to come off reload. He's going to annihilate him. And EPS is just going to try and hold on for this now.
There's two. And the third comes from Bishop.
Ooh, some replied though.
But yeah, indeed, Just Cause maybe outstaying a little bit of that peak then. And bearing in mind, Virtus.Pro is still on the attack. They have to make the moves. So maintaining a good chunk of HP is vital to them. However, that southern cap is open for the taking. 3 minutes and 43 seconds. They've got a good shot here, I'd say.
Yeah, they got a good shot. I mean, the southern cap is the obvious maneuver because it would mean that Evil Panda Squad will have to try and allocate some resources to deal with it. And that will allow Just Cause and Bishop to basically flank around, go up the 0 line, and come from behind, take down Raging Potato first. Well, I don't know. It depends if they have got enough firepower. Obviously, you want to take down the 5100 before he can unload all its shells. But Raging Potato's on about half HP, so he would be the first obvious target. But the execution still has to be here from Virtus.Pro because those two tanks are very, very dangerous. And the Cosmic going on reload, so predicting that Virtus.Pro will not be able to go forward quite so early. It won't be able to engage them. But Karitz is coming in towards that cap, and basically we have to see if that's really going to make the next move come out from EPS, or if he's just going to try and proxy spot them for the tanks in the middle.
Let's find out. He's going to be spotted out by Nas Cosmi, who is still on reload. Not landing a shot just yet. Raging Potato missing that one there. Could have been big.
Ooh, and he also received one. He shouldn't have gone for that. It's unnecessary from him. You know, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and getting himself spotted like that is not good. Also, his Amarat going down. Not sure if he's actually used his repair kit yet. If he has, that'll double his reload time to about 20 seconds or thereabouts. So not good stuff from him. Also, Virtus.Pro getting the cap underway. That's, of course, the southern cap, the easiest one for them, and it will force Nas Cosmi to make this next move, and it could be his last.
Let's find out. Nas Cosmi is on the move. That 5101 comes in. Karitz gets a big shell back. Nice shot from Nas Cosmi, but the tracks certainly going to slow him down. And if he makes out, this will be a miracle. Karitz has one more shot to make before he finds cover. Does not land it, but the cap does continue.
Raging Potato going in. He's just going to come off reload. He did actually have that repair kit, so he will be able to take down Karitz in this situation. Just Cause bouncing. That's the 110's armor coming into the equation. You can really see how much the Heat is having problems with this Chinese tier 8 heavy tank, but nevertheless, Bishop does find that shell performing for his team, and now it's just going to be that Bulldog Crot coming in to finish Nas Cosmi.
Yeah, I think Nas Cosmi can't really escape this one. Crot peeks round. Shell comes in. And it will be Virtus.Pro picking up battle number 2. And EPS once again left without a reply here.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff from EPS. And I think it does send a message to the other teams that despite the fact that Virtus.Pro is not exactly using the most clever and ingenious and beautiful tactics, that just those core skills from Virtus.Pro are very strong. And their decision-making without prior known tactics is very strong indeed. So just going up to that northern area, going for the engagement early on, EPS having to kind of get themselves together. And even when they were together before Virtus.Pro were, they still didn't push in. Virtus.Pro being aggressive the whole time stopped EPS from pushing in. And they still won, despite the fact that they were like 4 versus 7 at one point. So, I mean, it's Virtus.Pro's ability to use the unknown against their enemy.
And they're always good at doing this. They can pull any trick out of that bag that they have that's just reserved for Virtus.Pro. If they're down tanks, what do they do? If they're outnumbered, what do they do? And as you can see here, this was on the move up towards the northeast, and it went well. Yeah,
I mean, Pavel, Vorsik, and Kusok are there, so it's 3 tanks. But look how many tanks EPS has. It should have just been a matter of never give up Bananic and catch me pushing around that corner and taking down Vorsik. There's no reason why Vorsik is not taking a lot of damage here. Bananic going for the odd peek here and there, but it's just not enough to do it. And then never give up trying to go around the corner and getting caught out by a lot of the tanks sitting up towards the cap. Just all-around bad execution from EPS, and Virtus.Pro just having a little bit of a field day in those brawl situations. So bringing the scoreline 2-0 up on the attacking side is a good start for them.
Yeah, it's certainly a positive look out on things. Now I think it's more down to, can EPS step up to do the same thing? The attacking side has shown that it is possible now. There was
Yeah.
a lot of struggling at the start of the season where teams just didn't know quite how to encounter it, ways to kind of get around it, and what was really going, the best way. But it seems that a couple of teams, your GG Well Played, your Virtus.Pros, a couple of others here and there have really worked out a solid strategy. So let's see if EPS are actually able to kind of make those fundamentals work for them. I'm hoping they can here. I think they've got the player ability there. I just want to see them playing as a real collective.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They have got the great players, but as you said, not great decision making for them and kind of crumbling under pressure. But I also think they should have changed their lineup a little bit there. Use some heavier tanks. You could see that 110 did actually perform quite well despite difficult situations, and I think they should learn from that. Pick more of those kind of tanks, maybe the IS-3, maybe another 5100, and just bring that lineup a little bit heavier. Of course, you can keep a Bulldog alive just to go for those decaps if you really needed to, but it's a map where you kind of, if you have that middle situation, that middle hold, it's very hard to rotate around anyway, because you can spot the F line, the road going down into that middle circle towards the left, and you can spot the middle, obviously, because you're there, and the Eastern Village is not possible to get through either. So having a light tank doesn't necessarily always make sense when you're trying to defend. But yeah, we'll have to see how it works out for them. EPS did better on the attacking side against TCM Gaming, so maybe they'll have a better chance once they switch.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. And tank lineups will be a factor. We'll see what Virtus.Pro brings to the plate on the defending side. Will they start picking up some heavier tanks? I wouldn't be too surprised if maybe a 5100 here or there, or maybe those IS-3s, maybe that 110. We'll have to wait and see what they bring out. And looking at the way that Virtus.Pro played that for at least those first 2 rounds, they showed 2 different tactics there. They, not only went into the city, played a little bit of pressure towards the northern side, they also went to the east side on the first round. Do you think that maybe EPS has that kind of flexibility of tactics, or do you think they'll go for the same one twice possibly, or do you think there'll be a smaller adaptation rather than a completely different tactic?
Well, EPS decided to go for the right side last time, or the southern side against TCM, so I think they're going to go for something similar.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to be about those tank lineups. Do they go for something heavy, like they did against TCM? Do they go for something lighter? How that's going to work out against V-Pro, and I think that's going to be the crux of the game. Of course, if they execute correctly with those light tanks, they'll do very well. Also, it'll be interesting to see if Virtus.Pro go for something a little bit heavier. I don't know if they will. Typically, they've been quite a team that likes to pick adaptable lineups that really can flex around the map as quickly as possible. But those are the 2 factors I would keep in mind for you guys. Of course, once EPS does go on the attack, it'll be also how can they kind of adapt things up for that second round. I think the first round's going to be tricky for them, but they can catch them by surprise, which is also a big factor. But still, they have gone for something a little bit heavier. 2 110s and an AMX 5100. That's pretty strong, I think. And V-Pro also going for something pretty heavy, 2 5100s and a 110. And again, that 110 being a very, very liked tank on this map, and for good reason.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see even, I think, a little T69 in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Virtus.Pro bringing out a lineup that I certainly like. I'd like to see him play, and they are keeping a Bulldog in there, as you said, but Karit's getting caught out early on. I think that might have been a blind shot coming through, and he does just get caught, backs away a little, and we'll find some cover. I think that may have been from Never Give Up. I'm not too sure. But so far, EPS playing quite the passive attack. We used to know them as one of the slower teams out of the WGL EU. They would never be quite as offensive as others. But giving this much map control to Virtus.Pro, could this be an error?
Well, I'm hoping it's a calculated decision, not just
me both.
Not just Virtus.Pro kind of taking the middle area and EPS thinking, we're not going to go that way. But they seem to be doing a similar thing they did against TCM, kind of going up to that southern area, spotting out, see if they can catch any damage onto Virtus.Pro early on, and then rotating back around up that northern cap. And if I remember correctly, putting some tanks in the cap and basically forcing TCM to go forwards and taking them down once they do go forwards, and some sort of push into the middle at the same time. It's going to be a lot harder against V-Pro, as they are what seems to be on prize form, as we would expect, and clinical for sure. And let's see what they can do, though. Eclipse in the T-37 going forwards. Croc getting spotted, and honestly, I don't see him getting out of this situation. Goes down.
Yeah, Bulldog absolutely deleted off the map. So good early advantage for EPS. That's a fair chunk of HP gone. Bearing in mind the Karits hit earlier on as well, you've got a good combination here. And bearing in mind, EPS are down in what? 9th and Virtus.Pro are 1st. Any sort of pickups here, even if it's just a kill, building up slowly and slowly, that's massive for EPS, and they need to keep doing that. They've had close results, they need to get it even closer, they need a win here. And I like their flexibility, heading from the the northeast down towards the south a little, rotating around, and maybe looking for another pickup as a whole.
Yeah, it's going to be about that rotations. It was last time, but I'm still surprised that Krot went down. I really thought he'd be able to live on that. I think he only had signal bushes, but it's still pretty far away. I guess he moved or he shot, and that really gave his position away. But V-Pro are now on the back foot. EPS going forwards, looking for that southern line, the 0 line, and honestly, it's going to work out very well for them if they can get far enough forwards. But Creets will spot them, and it'll be about how much damage those tanks sitting up in towards the eastern village will be able to do. That determines the factor of this game. But there's 110 still in the middle. They're going to be going up north through the... I guess they're going to go through the F line, through the middle road, take down the AMX 3090 and continue with that. They just want to be in a situation where they can take all the shells from the front and not worry about the side too much. And that T69 is on the side, but early spots goes on to Never Give Up. He has to try and run away, but Vorsik also receiving one for his trouble.
Yeah, so finally a bit of damage coming towards EPS. Yankees there and Never Give Up, as you said. Taking a little bit of fire. And at the moment, we are finally seeing those 110s making their way up that F-line, as you predicted correctly so far. And Just Cause maybe, well, getting into a worse situation, does find a touch of cover, going to try and hop, skip and jump through possibly, but Lucas there certainly spotting out the game, and Yankees taking a bit, but overall, this is still a very tentative situation here. Povell and Bishop from the back lines firing through. And right now, EPS going to be building up to try and take down Just Cause. They certainly have a window of opportunity. Yankees turns turret, gets it. Lucas stays alive, even though Yankees is so low. He's doing the job.
This looks good at the moment for EPS, very good indeed. They are receiving quite a lot of damage, but Virtus.Pro are receiving more. Lucas Yasting, Raging Potato have got to do a good job against Kusok here, but EPS have bought themselves a window to go forwards, and they're really putting the damage on every single location. Creets in towards the left side, Kusok in the middle, Bishop soon. Cap's also underway from them, and once they have this eastern village established, it should be a win for them as Creet does fall.
It certainly looks like this is going to be a good pickup, a solid round here for EPS. And as much as I say that, you know, Virtus.Pro will always be able to turn the situation around, at this point it's looking near on impossible. HP so low, the 110 being bruised and battered down to merely 398 HP. 40 seconds on the cam. Bishop comes in the T69, gets a good shot towards Raging Potato, gets the follow-up. And I do start worrying when they start getting these kills in. There is 3 mere tanks remaining, but the HP is fairly low for EPS.
EPS has to basically get out of this cap now and basically finish off Virtus.Pro. This was a mistake from them. V-Pro still have 2 huge combat tanks left. EPS aren't putting enough pressure in the eastern village to be able to, first of all, find where Virtus.Pro are going to come from, and second of all, do some damage with that information. So big window of opportunity for Virtus.Pro to draw this one up. Only 1 minute and 35 seconds left on the clock, but EPS have made the right decision only to leave Never Give Up in that cap.
Dangerous situation. Never Give Up takes a little, and I'm still worried here. You got Povell, Bishop and Vorsik all on fair amounts of HP. Bananic makes a peek, gets 2 back. Oh, finally fire coming through. Vorsik's very low, down to near on a one-shot. He gets taken out. Now Bishop and Povell, the last 2 alive. The cap is quite slow here. That T69 playing far back, playing passive, but surely this can't turn around.
Massive, massive misses from both Bannock and Catch Me, but they're still probably going to be able to take down Povell because Yankees in that 110's in a good position, but they're just making these sniping shots and they have to basically deal with him. T69 is going to come around from behind, hit Never Give Up and reset, as Yankees will be able to put a little bit of pressure though by sitting himself in that cap, and you can see the pressure really being applied for Virtus.Pro, and they're not crumbling, they're staying in this game, and well, they're going to have to deal with Povell. He's got about 10 seconds till he is reloaded.
Let's see if he can stay alive that long. First shout, not going to do it. Bishop now 1v4. Yankees, yes, is low, but that cap is the main feature here. Now, if Yankees can play this one, Bishop can play this correctly. Oh, he's on reload. This could be trouble.
Yeah, 20 seconds reload on that. But
one shot might be able to do it, though, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, 1 shot, 1 ram, 1 anything. But I don't think there's going to be enough time on the cap. Oh, there is with 3 tanks. And, well, Catch Me's got to try and make this one work in the 2-5-1. And I think he's going to be able to do it. Catch Me's going for that ram. Buys time.
Play. Smart play. EPS do manage to pick up the round in the final seconds then. And with all Bishop's will and want, they sadly could not convert that any further for Virtus.Pro. Good play in the end. It was Catch Me, if I'm not mistaken. He made pretty much a suicide play going in there. He knows he's not going to get anything out of it, really, aside from buying enough time just to slow down that final T69.
Exactly.
Smartly done.
Yeah, perfect stuff. I mean, he is obviously a pretty heavy tank, despite the fact that it's light. He's just going for the ram. He knows he'll probably receive a lot of HP, but he hits the size of Pavel and basically just tracks him in that situation. Not Pavel. Who was that playing the T69? Bishop, even. He tracks him, stops him there, and it means he can't go forwards. But honestly, I think he would have been a win anyway for EPS, showing that they are going to live up to that name of being a good team as the attacker on Ruinberg. And that does give them a little bit of hope here. 2-1 scoreline, still in favor of Virtus.Pro, but they have picked up a round, which kind of means that they're still in the runnings for this. And if they pick up the next one as well, they'll be firmly back into the game.
Yeah, I do worry, though, that they had such a big advantage, and it got quite close towards the end. Then it got close enough that I thought maybe Bishop could do that. Maybe that T69 could have reset, because it would only need one shot to hit. And to be fair, he'd probably land it.
Yeah.
Smart play did mean that EPS won it, which is good. That is exactly what I wanted to see. But it worries me that it has to come to that one player to pull off that one move to be able to get there. It gets a little nerve-wracking at that point, because they had so much of an advantage over Virtus.Pro at that point, and the amount of missed shots, as you pointed out, coming through, maybe being a problem, but we'll have to wait and see if that actually affects them going into the next round. This will be the fourth and final battle on the first map here on Ruinberg. And get yourself a 3-1 scoreline is near on a certainty to go towards the win, to get onto that match point first in these sort of games. You go on to the next map and you pick up, 1-1, and you're still looking pretty on match point. So you can imagine the real strain on this one going to come out from Virtus.Pro. They're going to want that 3-1. They may have had a bit of an awakening from that last game going... Yep. We shouldn't be losing rounds to these guys. Now, obviously, they have lost rounds to other teams. They have been getting closer results, but Virtus.Pro are still Virtus.Pro. They are at the top of the league, and I'm sure that even these small drops in occasional games, dropping a round or two here or there, will still make them want to work harder, and that's why you've got to respect Virtus.Pro to that extent. They will not take any round loss lightly. They will want to come back stronger. But still, we'll have to wait and see what comes through on this. Hopefully the tank lineups are fairly similar, so we can see how they work. I like the T69s in play. I like the 5100s. I miss the T69 personally. I like seeing it come back a little more. It's one of my favourite tanks to watch. And I think this map certainly suits it. So looking maybe to see that again. I'm not sure if we will. However, it's down to the teams. Obviously, Virtus.Pro tried to pick that one up. And they're a team that don't like to change or go against the grain, should I say. They stay fairly standard. Do you think that lineup they gave before was good enough, or would you make some changes?
It looks like it's... pretty similar. Volsik and Pavel are playing those 5100s again. Bishop is playing the T69. Just Cause is playing the MX-3090. Kuzok's playing the 110, and Kreitz and Krot even are playing the M41. I guess the big blow for Virtus.Pro last time was the fact that Krot died pretty much instantly. He's, a substitute player for Virtus.Pro. We don't ever see him. It's always the same 7 players for Virtus.Pro. But when they lose one, they lose an element to them, and they do look strong here. Krot looks like he is performing. He's been training with the team.
He seems fairly solid, but it's still not the same.
Yeah, it's hard at the end of the day, and they did lose their best player for him at this point in time. Breakneck. So, Breakneck not being in the game is a big blow for them.
Yep.
And they're going to try and do the best with what they have. And EPS just going straight through the middle with a very fast lineup, trying to catch Virtus.Pro by surprise. Virtus.Pro not going forwards and not taking the bait.
Let's see how this one goes. This is a dangerous game to play. Virtus.Pro love that east side village. We'll have to wait and see if Evil Panda Squad can break through and dominate down those small roads and corridors in this area. First shell does come towards Just Cause, so already a nice bit of opening damage there. Bishop moving up. And this is where I feel the T69 can be quite strong if he's still actually playing that one.
Well, yeah, what should happen right now is that Lucas Yasti and Raging Potatoes should just sit themselves in the cap, because it's too predictable when this cap is just going at a steady pace down. And that's why Virtus.Pro will probably be able to reset.
But no one's reset yet. It's still 3 seconds. It's, just about came in the end. But that was A little too close for comfort. I feel EPS though taking a lot of damage on the cross up towards that eastern side village. Never Give Up's low, Yankees is low, Eclipse is low, and Never Give Up just goes into that suicide alley, gets picked up. But Nanak in no man's land here, down to a one-shot or a ram, trying to focus down Just Cause, but can't do it again. Just Cause being that tasty bait that they just cannot pick up, and EPS have crumbled.
Yeah, this is game over for EPS right now. It was game over when they got reset because of the tanks they had and the positions they were in. Virtus.Pro will be able to clean up Catch Me and Yankees, the two final remaining tanks of the Polish team. So really not much HP loss of Virtus.Pro. Well, you know, the tank lineups and the fact that EPS had such light tanks basically allowed them to win the brawl with absolutely no problems.
And that's just strong play from Virtus.Pro, let's be honest. They just, as soon as they saw a weakness, they went for it.
Yeah, but for me, it's too predictable from Evil Planet Squad. I mean, the tactic's obvious when you see the lineup, and I mean, you can see the logic behind it. They have some tanks in the cap, 2 of them, basically to get a fast cap, and then you have the 3 to stop Virtus.Pro going forwards. But the thing is, as soon as you get reset, you're going to lose the game. So what they should do is make Virtus.Pro think that the cap is going to stay at this pace, at a steady pace with 2 players. And then you take one of your tanks and just put it in the cap at the last.
Just to speed up that little
speed up that little second. And suddenly Virtus.Pro's timings are wrong. You know, got 3 there. Just pop Lucas Shiasti in there at the same time and finish this game off. I mean, you can have 4 tanks. 4 tanks is the maximum you can have in the cap, and still be able to continue the cap speed. You know, 1 tank, it's 120 seconds, 2, it's 60 seconds, 3, it's 30 seconds, and 4,
So
it's
on.
15 seconds. Yeah, you know, etc. But yeah, once that decap happened, it was pretty much game over. So 3-1 scoreline going to our next map.
And we said that Virtus.Pro will always come out for that final pickup in this one to make sure they have such a lead going into the next map. And obviously, before we get to that map, we need to know how you guys at home have been voting, what your thoughts are on this game so far, and how you've been behaving in Twitch chat. And obviously, Melly, our referee of Twitch chat, how's it going?
Everything is nice and calm as usual, so join our Twitch chat is always nice, and there, big shout out to our mods keeping it calm and beautiful. And yes, Virtus.Pro clearly had with 84, that's 84, right? 84%. I'm sorry, still a bit confused. Yes, 84% for Virtus.Pro. Well, something we all expected somehow. It used to be much higher in the 90% range a few play days ago, so I don't know if it has to say something or not. What are you? Just tell me what you guys at home are thinking about it by heading over to Twitter and using the hashtag WGLEU to share opinion, to share thoughts. We love reading from you, so you can of course tweet us personally as well. You will find the Twitter names in the Twitch chat, and I bet you'll find them on Twitter as well because you're smart. And yes, we will be back after a short break, and during that break you still have time to vote for your favorite team, so head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and participate in the team vote. And by participating you get the chance of winning one of 5 bonus codes which contain 500 gold, so it's definitely worth taking part in our little challenges and contests. And yes, people, we will be back after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to match week 7 here in the WGL EU. We are starting to get in towards this the play day today. First map done, I guess. A 3-1 scoreline to Virtus.Pro up against EPS. It's looking quite one-sided here.
Yeah, EPS looks like there are some problems in there, but Virtus.Pro just looks like they're on point, even with one of their substitute players, which we don't see a lot of. But still, new map, new possibilities for Evil Panel Squad to get back into this one. And I think classically they've been pretty strong in Muravanka. I mean,
they have been.
Last time, 3 out of 4 rounds they won on this map, and Virtus.Pro lost 3 out of 4 of their last ones against TCM Gaming before the Christmas break. So at the moment, it's looking quite good for them, to be honest, for Evil Pan Squad to possibly win this one. They have to be careful on the defensive side. They look like a better attacking team. So I'm going to have to see how this one goes. Of course, Virtus.Pro are Virtus.Pro. They're hard to deal with, really no matter what.
Certainly is going to be the case. It's going to be something to watch here. And I actually really like this way the map's playing out a little bit. It's very different to the others. It's quite unique. It's not quite so decisive sometimes. It can turn around. We're seeing some very beautiful tactics coming through. And of course, use that hashtag WGLEU to let us know your thoughts on how you feel this game's going to pan out. Will it be Virtus.Pro at a 5-1 scoreline? Does EPS have the chance to come back? And what has made you believe so thus far? Get on Twitter and use that hashtag WGLEU. And we'll be able to see it. And Melly might even read it out if it's good enough. It's quite difficult to make Melly feel satisfied within your work, but maybe if you're good enough and you're nice enough, she might read it out. That'll be your prize of the day. Maybe some gold as well, but mostly the prize would be Melly reading it. However, back to the tanks, I think the teams are in the game and they are rolling out right now. Let's jump in and see what we've got here on Morovanka. So in the north, in blue, it will be Evil Panda Squad, currently with only 1 round beside them, but in the south, on defense, it's going to be the Giants Virtus.Pro with 3 rounds, only 2 away from getting this one in the bag. Interesting
that Virtus.Pro has actually picked up a T32 here. We don't see that a lot on Muravanka, perhaps because of that eastern cap. Would be quite hard to deal with from that tank, but we've seen a lot of T69s, so it kind of follows that logic. Very good hull down, and the T32 is pretty good at medium ranges, close to medium ranges, of course. But Evil Panel Squad staying true to form with those 2 5-1s, loving those kind of tanks and going immediately for a quick, fast move over the east side. This could catch Virtus.Pro by surprise.
Well, it's certainly caught Povol off guard there. He's down to a 1-shot now, 132 HP, about to be taken away by Lucas on the drive-by, hits it and goes on. The rest of Virtus.Pro are just left reeling in the absolute destruction. The EPS is just rolling towards them. However, the 1390s towards the north are mobilizing towards the T69s. The rest of EPS are going to continue rolling down to try and flank on Bishop, and Lucas might have a shot available any second now. Does get damaged, but still rolling, still in the game, and another follow-up shot comes out from the boys behind. Never give up, maybe landing that one, but this looks like EPS means business.
Oh, Yankees might actually be caught here. This could be a 2-for-1, but EPS still in the lead. The problem is, can they take down that T32? I think that's their next target, as it just about gets away. In terms of HP, Evil Pan Squad winning for sure. Let's see what Virtus.Pro does to mobilize against this very aggressive initial play from EPS. Never give up, does receive another one because he was still spotted. And, well, Virtus.Pro doing quite well at this point in time. Vorsic over towards the left, and as long as Kusok keeps his eye on this, so it should just be okay. The momentum has been lost from EPS, and Virtus.Pro look like they're kind of back in control, but EPS are mobilizing.
Yeah, and the big issue with that T32 is it has so much sustain, and the later in the game it gets on that sort of HP pool, the better it feels. And Lucas now trying to find Vorsic out on his own. Vorsic might be in trouble here. He can't really get much support, and well, Lucas is actually pretty low. The main fight does, however, begin in towards the center. The T69s are coming in. Catch me. Trying to find onto Kusok. Kusok going low here. And maybe they can negate that sustain. But Nanek comes in and delivers. Beautifully played. Crop the next target. Gets 1. But Nanek tries to find a touch of cover. Gets 2 on the way. Gets the ammo shell ready to fire. But not going to make it. There's now just 3 remain for Virtus.Pro. Just 2 for EPS. This is close.
Oh, but Bananek will go down, leaving only Catch Me on his own versus Karit and Just Cause.
And these 3 mean business. Catch Me comes in, he does get 1, but now looking vulnerable against the 2 remaining. This 2-5-1 is going to have to go pretty darn big here to outplay these 2 boys. It would be a miracle more than anything, as Vorsic does get 1. And now Karit's on the move. and Catch Me left with very few options.
I'm not sure why Kreitz is actually running away. He could just deal with Catch Me. Catch Me will have to have 2 shells for him, and Kreitz would only need 2 of his own with a better reload. But I guess he's just waiting for Vorsic. Of course, Kreitz is the team captain, so he's making the biggest calls for his team. Vorsic will be able to crest and catch Me on the behind, and that will secure the first round for Virtus.Pro.
There's a lot to be said about that round as well. Let's be honest here. It started looking perfect for EPS. They managed to catch up Virtus.Pro, which is a rarity. That team expects the unexpected sometimes, and they picked up 2 free kills almost. Where did it go wrong? What made it switch hands then? Because it did seem to literally just in a second go to Virtus.Pro's favor.
Well, Virtus.Pro, first of all, they were calm. They just relocated themselves into a safe position. They kept Kusok alive with a lot of HP, full HP. And I guess the biggest issue was that Lucas Shiesti went for Vorsic. Vorsic was on his own. He's kind of out of the battle a little bit. And if EPS had put Lucas Shiesti with that main force going up north, it could have been a different story, because Vorsic would have had to disengage, push up, and actually come into the ball himself, because EPS would have been pushing over the top. Vorsic wouldn't be able to shoot. So, but this is the initial play, and at this point, EPS definitely are in the driving seat. They take down Povel, but the problem is it is only Povel. The rest of Virtus.Pro are in pretty good locations to not take any damage. Yes, I believe Kreitz goes down. No, not Kreitz, Just Cause goes down in the middle. No, Bishop goes down in the middle even. But still, Virtus.Pro maintains good positions, and it's this thing in World of Tanks. You might win that initial engagement, but what do you sacrifice to actually get it? Too much for EPS in that situation.
Yeah, and it's a big question, isn't it? As you said, it's how much do you sacrifice for that one big play? And well, EPS gave a little too much away on that one. However, it does put Virtus.Pro now onto match point. They're 1 round away from walking away with the win here, and EPS, that's really going to shatter any confidence they may have had of having those close rounds prior on Ruinberg. However, they do get another shot at this side. I don't know what to expect here, because that was an all-in play. That was something that generally catches someone out. That's what Virtus.Pro used to win in a couple of games, just those all-in shock and awes. Now, what really does EPS have left?
But this is typical EPS. Even without new multi-show, they're kind of doing these knee-jerk reactions when they're down.
Right.
They did this so much last season. They're doing it so much this season. As soon as they're put under pressure, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of strain, a little bit of temptation, and they start YOLOing into these situations, YOLOing into these fights, and it never seems to go well for them. I think they had a real chance on Muravanka. They showed that they're a top team on Muravanka, but they just needed to play correctly. They need to play the normal style, and I think they would have been able to pick up a couple of rounds here against Virtus.Pro. But it looks like they're slowing things down a little bit, but you can see the information is straight away in favor for Virtus.Pro. They spotted Lucas Shiesti, they spotted the northern area, and they're definitely adapting into good situations. And Vorsic's running away, of course, but at least EPS has slowed it down. They're playing more logically. Catch Me in that position is a little bit questionable, because it's 251's hull armor is very easy to deal with, but still it looks like EPS are in the runnings and could possibly, for instance, take that Just Cause, who is in a little bit of an awkward position.
Let's see. So far, every single time it's looked like EPS getting off to a good start, then it's gone wrong. However, maybe they can adjust that this time. Maybe things will change. However, Catch Me receiving a lot doesn't really signify great things, but Bishop moving in here quite aggressively, wanting to catch them out, and he does! Raging Potato just gets wiped off the face of this map, and now Bananic, Never Give Up and Co are really in trouble. Yankees down to a one-shot, goes down, and Virtus.Pro coming out swinging into battle number 6. Finally, Croft does get a little bit of trouble there, but Croft will be going down in reply. Bananic, though, is a one-shot, goes down, and this looks like Virtus.Pro just want to get this over and done with.
Pretty much game over now. Never give up, trying to never give up, but I think he is going to fall down here, as Virtus.Pro are going to clean the board with a 5-1 scoreline against the Poles Evil Panda squad, who have a lot of things to improve, I think, in this one, but Lucas Shiesti, team captain, does fall, leaving only Eclipse and that T-37 alive. It's not going to be able to do too much work. Pretty sure Just Cause is just going to be able to ram him, but that T-37 is a tough route.
Well, it was, but Virtus.Pro showing they were tougher. 5-1 being the scoreline. Virtus.Pro picking up the win and dominating at the top of the rankings, securing their place quite nicely there at the top for at least a little while longer. And sadly for EPS, it's crunch time now. They are looking a little bit weary for those points beside them.
Yeah, match day 7, it's no longer the beginning, it's no longer the middle, it's starting to head towards the end. So, yeah, I mean, Evil Panasquad have to start questioning if they want to be a top 6 team now. They did well against TCM, but still are going to be struggling with those points, as you said. And Virtus.Pro are starting to get themselves a nice little lead with 16 points. The second team is 13 points. Of course, if GG Well Play manages to pick up around, they'll be into the same kind of point position. And of course, we'll be seeing School Bus play today, who could also level the points up.
Yeah, and I just looked at the actual upcoming games for EPS. Their next battle will be against Kazna, then DTQ, which is certainly possible, following that Momentum, and then Wusa. So 3 very solid teams. DTQ can be a surprise, as School Bus found out. They don't have an easy run going forward. If they want to get into that top 6, they really have to step up a hell of a lot there. So a lot to be considered for those guys going forward. A tough result all around for them. Sadly, not a win for them. Quite a decisive scoreline of 5-1. However, you guys at home pretty much called it right, Melly. They're always on the money, those guys out there, aren't they?
Absolutely. It happens rarely that you guys are actually wrong with your voting results. So 86% for Virtus.Pro. But fair to say is that the community at home actually expect more resistance from the Evil Panasquad side. So, well, maybe they will step up their games. I don't know what went wrong besides Virtus.Pro just playing out of their minds and being brilliant. But maybe we'll see in some new future that the Giants also struggle. Nobody knows. So people, the next vote will be up in a few seconds actually. As soon as you see this, you should be able to vote on facebook.com/WGLEU. So vote for your favorite team, predict the exact scoreline of this matchup in a little text field below, send off your vote and hope that you'll get picked as one of the 5 lucky winners that get rewarded with 500 gold. You can also win by participating on Twitter. Just tweet us. Share opinion, share whatever is on your mind. If you want to say hi, or if you want to hand in your predictions via Twitter as well, you're very well invited to do so. Just use the hashtag WGLEU to make sure that we can actually see your tweets. And if you get lucky, you will be rewarded as one of the 5 tweets of the day, and also win a bonus code containing 500 gold. So thumbs pressed for you guys. And if you want to rewatch the last match days, just head over to youtube.com/WGLEU and follow us there as well, of course, to get notified as soon as we upload new video content, and also to rewatch the past match days and maybe the ones from the former seasons or events. So people, we will be back after a short break, 10 minutes if I'm not mistaken. So time enough to prepare a sandwich, to get something to drink, and to be ready in time in front of your computer. See you then.